New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Hello. I don't know if you can hear us, but I'm guessing you can. So I'm looking to my producer. Fantastic. Somehow our technology seems to be having difficulties today, but we are not. We are here to rock the love. So take that, technical wires and internet waves. I'm Robyn.
And I'm Gil. And we are here with Rockin the Love, as we are every week. So we're happy to have you with us. We're happy to talk about lots of things that are related to the joy of relationship. So.
And what brings us joy is when you like and subscribe and do all those technical things. So if you could just do that, we'd appreciate it. So welcome. Today our show is about the courage of love. No. It is about that, but that's not the title of it. The title of it is what?
Here we go to the banner so we remember. Oh my gosh. It is the courageous act of love.
There you go.
Who knew? The courageous act of love.
Our producer knew.
All right.
Courageous act of love. Okay. All right.
And just so you know, this is a lot about the act of love when we receive love. So just so you know.
Yes, it is. Because this is a month of love and acknowledgement and friendship and all of those things that feel, well, that are supposed to feel warm and fuzzy. So we're gonna talk about those.
Okay. And of course, as always, we want you to participate in the conversation. So put up your questions, your thoughts, your input. And if you're here during the show, that'll give us a chance to chat back with you. If you're here after the show, it'll give us a chance to check in with you later. So thank you so much.
And I want to just, welcome you into our world that you can vaguely see in the background. We are in the process of building a new desk. So things are a little scattered and we couldn't close the closet door because the desk is being built right there. So that's what's happening. We're not unaware that it's not attractive. But our producer won't let us put up a banner because it takes bandwidth. So there you go. All right. So welcome. So here in New Mexico today, it is sunny, 61 degrees with a lot of overcast. Rain is coming. And the week has been good, though. It's been nice and sunny and good. Looks good out there. I have a feeling my week is just going to be the same for the next couple months. It's
really?
Just, yeah.
Okay.
It just blends in and there's just a lot to do. That's it.
Okay.
And
well,
you feel differently?
Well, I have to say, I was talking to somebody yesterday who was like, you haven't heard from them? That was a week and a half ago they were here. And I was like, no, I think it was Friday. And I think that's kind of how things are going for a lot of us. it feels like it's moving, and we're zipping through things, and really it's not. There's just a lot happening within a short period of time. So, and I think it's all about how we view it and how we receive it. And
well, isn't that the key to life?
the key to life.
I mean, it's all about how we view it and how we receive it.
Songs in the key of life.
No, but I'm serious. I mean, yeah, of course, everything is about perspective, right?
Yeah, it's all about perspective. So I'm choosing my perspective to be, it's all good, it's possible, and I love it. So there you go.
Great.
That's new.
That assures me that you have a great Valentine's planned.
I do. It's incredible. You will not believe it.
Okay. I'll be sure and report back in on how that goes. Okay, but that's not what our show's about today. It will be at some point, I'm sure. But that is not about today. So before we get to the meat of the program and what's going on, let's get to the good news.
The good news, which is where we share what's going on in the world that's positive, because it's pretty easy to find the news that freaks us out. That's sort of scary, that's disappointing, that's all those things. But it's not always as easy to find the stories that tell us about the stuff that's happening that is the story. And the story is we are continuing to evolve and grow as humans, as a race, as a country, as a world. So here we go. Am I first?
As usual.
Well, I never know, as usual. So I'd like to share with you today something about the Don River in
Canada.
Jeez Louise, in Toronto, Canada. Now, this river, along with, as we will recall, many rivers, particularly around the Great Lakes and stuff, were once so polluted that you could light them on fire.
Wow.
Yeah. And in fact, it was declared dead as long ago as 1969. And this river had nothing that could live in it. So, in addition to that, the city had built canals to take the river and move it into straight lines. And it even had a 90-degree turn at one point, which is pretty not normal for a river. And it took away the ability for the river to deal with flooding. So it would flood because it had no more wetlands, which they'd filled in order to use the space around the river. So what they've done over the last so many years is that they've actually undone a bunch of that. They've created a more meandering flow, and they've put in wetlands along the river. Wow. And now there are over 20 species of fish living in the river, and they found multiple age ranges of those fish to indicate that they're all doing well there, including salmon and
wow.
All kinds of things that are living in that river now, which makes it a whole different thing. And I think the amazing part is, one, that Canada put in around $1 billion to make this happen, and that we can shift what appears to be something that's done. It had the appearance that this river would never recover. And so for many years, that's how it was treated. And now, again, not instantly, over a period of the last 15, 20 years at least, they've been working on this. And now that's what you have, is a functioning, alive river with salmon, largemouth bass, emerald bowfin, all kinds of interesting fish are in there. And so, even though this area was industrialized in the 1800s, it has been revitalized in the 2000s. So there you go.
That's amazing. I love those stories because it gives us hope, and it really does say we can do this. This isn't, it's not a lost thing.
No.
So my story is about a fiance who surprised his bride with a wedding shower in the preschool where they first met as toddlers. And she is a teacher there now. And she came to work, and her class was all dressed in floral prints, and some of the boys had bow ties on, and she walked in the door, and they handed her a tiara and a sash, and her fiance, his name is Sean, followed her into the room where they first met in preschool. Come on, this is like the best Valentine's story, right? And and then they just celebrated, and she was really surprised, and they had cookies, and they decorated the classroom, and she had a crown and a veil, and it was just really sweet and really meaningful. And her grandmother had been a teacher there when they first met, and then they reconnected back in 2021. So I guess it was I think they met I want to say 2004, and so they worked as camp directors together. And she said that her grandmother who was working there would always like send Sean on little errands whenever she needed something, and she just kept them, connected, and she suggested they'd go on a date. And so apparently they did. And he's also a teacher who works at a high school, and I just thought it was super sweet. I just thought it was a good outpicturing of love and full circle, and fun for the kids, and a good February love story. That's it.
And a little meddling from mom. Grandma.
That's right. And while we have while our producer has put us into the little box, if we go back to the little box, I just want to I give props to our graphics design department, because if you can see, it is the essence of exactly where we are and coming to you from New Mexico. So thanks to the graphics department, the design team, and everyone who is right on top of it. Oops, wait. That's Michael Mangus, our producer, the man that does it all. So thank you, Michael Mangus. All right, now, time to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about love and the courageous act of receiving it. So stay tuned. Don't go away. And we'll be right back here on New Thought Media Network.
Please help us say thank you to all of our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Center for Spiritual Living United Life, Sunshine Cathedral, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Universal Joy Center, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Home Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. On behalf of New Thought Media Network, thank you, and please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, come be you. Come expand your spiritual journey. Join us for Just the Talk, Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Experience Unity Kitchener and Ottawa. Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Unity of Garden Park, New Thought Philadelphia, the Sunshine Cathedral, Unity of Savannah, and the Ohm Center for Spiritual Living. Come unleash your spiritual potential with New Thought Media Network. New Thought Media Network proudly presents the Science of Mind Saturday Conversations. Learn more about the Science of Mind philosophy, faith, and way of life. Join our team of experts for a weekly deep dive discussion. Come study the science of mind, chapter by chapter, and resources from the Science of Mind archives. Plan to join us every Saturday, 9 a.m. Mountain Time. Only on the New Thought Media Network.
And we are back. I'm Robyn.
And I'm Gil. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. We're coming to you from our home studios in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and this is Rockin the Love.
It is. So welcome. Today we're stepping into a conversation about the love that we forget to receive. Not the love we give, not the love we work for, the love we try to earn, but the love that's already here waiting for us to just open our hearts and be able to receive it. And sometimes that is a more challenging thing to do than to give, right? So many times we move through the world being givers and strong and capable and generous and just being able to hold that space for everyone else. And then when love turns towards us, we get a little more hesitant, or we flinch, or we back off, we deflect, we shrink, we stay busy, we stay in control. We forget that receiving love is its own kind of courage.
Yeah, why is that, you suppose, that receiving love requires courage?
I think because you have to be vulnerable.
Yes. I think we often have to really get in touch with the fact that we're okay. And that requires then being able to project that, which is being very vulnerable. We have to value ourselves and not feel like we need to earn love, but that we are worthy of receiving it just because.
Yeah, I think we block it without even noticing. I mean, like, our patterns are so ingrained, and then
Why do we do that? I think we do it because we're trying to be really polite. Sometimes we don't want anyone to think that we think too much of ourselves, or that that we feel like they need to give us something, or whatever the fear is around that. But it's like we're trying to be super polite, which is really just a cover for our feeling of not necessarily deserving it, I think.
Interesting. I think that we do it because we don't want to be, because it's too much responsibility, and we don't want to be wrong. We don't want them to discover we're not who they think we are. or that they're, I think it's a moment where we kind of sink into our not enoughness on some level. And I'm sure it's a combination of all of those things, or, depending on the person. But yeah, I mean, I think, sometimes, for example, even when you think about like someone paying you a compliment,
Mm-hmm.
and how sometimes it may be easy to take and say thank you. Other times it's like, no, 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 don't be ridiculous.
I was
It
just
wasn't a
doing
thing.
what was expected.
You would have done the same thing. Anybody could have done it. I mean, we diminish what we're being given, what we're being.
What happens when we do that? What do you, what I mean, when you look at that, what do you think goes on? What's the picture of us pushing it away like that?
What do you mean? What
Well,
happens for me, or what happens for other people?
I think all the way around. I think for us, it then minimizes what's trying to come in, and we then lose the opportunity to feel that love, to receive that love, and we fail to give the other person the gift of receiving their love, and so the other person is diminished at the same time. So in fact, when we're being polite, we're diminishing everyone in the situation. Is a thought.
Well, yes, yes, and I think there's a level at which we also give up control on some level.
To be able to receive the love.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because we're anytime we're initiating the giving directly, like you said, we have some kind of control over what's going on. We're guiding the steps.
Mm-hmm.
And when we are put in a situation where something comes at us and we get to receive it in the moment, it becomes clear that we truly aren't in control because we didn't plan that.
Right, and you have to surrender on some level to in order to receive,
Right,
because you have to be open to it.
right, right. We can't receive if we are closed off, which is kind of what you talked about the idea of sort of deflecting and those kinds of things. Those are reactions to the idea that we are closed off. Those are the indicators that we're closed off. Is when we do that.
Yeah, yes, and there's a level at which, like when I was saying about being vulnerable, it's like we're letting ourselves be seen, or someone is seeing us, and so if we don't believe that we're worthy, if we are not, if we can't stand in that, if we're not, if our head doesn't match what they're saying, then we shrink.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We step back. And then I don't know. I mean, I think what happens there is that we lose the opportunity to feel love, which has been directed toward us. And so then we often turn around and say, well, I don't feel loved. I don't feel seen. I don't feel whatever. When in reality, we're the ones who don't see ourselves and don't feel loved. So we block anything that's unlike that when it comes in.
That's deep.
It is deep, isn't it?
Yeah, it's deep. It is deep.
I mean, the only way to move past that feeling of nobody loves me, I think I'll eat some worms, is to move past that idea for ourselves. Is that how I view myself? What is it about me that I feel doesn't deserve the love? And so then it becomes as I can grow in that some, I can receive more love. And as I receive that love, it bolsters the idea that I deserve that love. And it's a circle, it's a cycle. I think just as it's a cycle, sort of a downward cycle, when we're pushing it away, it's an upward cycle as we begin to open it up to coming in. So it's not like we have to change everything in one moment, but we have to start the process. And as we start the process, it becomes easier to receive. And as we receive and truly receive, it becomes easier to see ourselves in that light. Right?
Yes. And I think that it's something that we, I think we at least begin in an unconscious state of that, of not being able to receive. I think we begin without even realizing what's happening because we're just, I don't know, it's ingrained in us, or we grow up, with people giving us compliments and we're like, oh yeah, thanks. We brush them off. We let them go. And so I think that it's,
well, I think we're, the either overt or subconscious messages we receive often growing up are, don't be full of yourself, don't be too prideful, always be humble. And there's a difference between pushing away love and being humble. Humility is just accepting it and moving forward without becoming full of yourself, if you will, without going, oh yeah, I know I'm great, thanks. Maybe someday you'll be great too.
so okay. So why is it that we block things? Why is it that we block things? Block that love, block those kind of, for lack of a better word, deeper friendships or deeper connections.
Fear
Of
of being seen. Fear will be found out because we don't really believe those things about ourselves. And so the fear is that if we allow someone to speak that into our lives, that will open us up to someone discovering it's not true. A whole lot of love, if you will, a whole lot of love issues are all about fear. They're all about not trusting ourselves, not trusting others. And what is a lack of trust? It's fear. It's fear that something bad will happen, that somebody doesn't really care about us.
So these patterns are from our childhood or our past lives or our lineage handed down, whatever right. You believe, but it comes from, that whatever was instilled in you, or that heartbreak, or that, teacher that told you couldn't do something, and we've taken on these things that we bring into our relationships. So then when someone tells you, oh, you're really talented at that, your instinct is to go, no, I'm not, and to brush it off. Right?
Mm-hmm. And when someone comes to you and says, thank you for what you did, and we go, oh, whatever.
It was nothing.
Yeah. We are not allowing ourselves to say, thank you for that. Thank you for noticing. And in theory, we didn't do it to be noticed, but thank you for noticing. Right?
Well, again, then that's another story that would play into it, because we didn't do it to be noticed. And it becomes Sorry, there's a dog on our lap and our arm. If you see a head every now and then bobbing in, it's from our animal rescue.
It's Henry.
It's Henry. Um, okay, I lost my train of thought. But anyway, well, I mean, so anyway, there's a consequence. So when we don't let love in, we begin to nurture that story of we're not enough, we're not worthy, and any of those things that have gone on, and then relationships begin to feel unbalanced, right? Because if you're always trying to give me something that I can't receive, there's going to be a problem, right? So go ahead.
Well, that unbalanced piece, there is that place where people get stuck on, if somebody does something for them, they have to do something back. It doesn't matter if they're honoring some special act or whatever it is, they will need to figure out how to return, because they can't just receive what's been given to them. They must actively, again, take control and be in a situation to return it.
Right. So I mean, but again, so that's the unbalanced piece, right? And then you're still, two different stories are getting, if you're in a relationship, two different stories are getting fed and nurtured, and reminds me of that Indian story about two wolves, or which one wins.
Oh, right.
It's and so even when you're, even though you want the love, when people are trying to give it to you and you're not letting them, and then you feel like you didn't get it, but they feel like you couldn't receive it, like they keep trying, right? You know what I mean? It builds up to that place of where people become resentful and they don't know why, and it breaks down the connection.
Right. Well, because there's really no real communication. It becomes about making sure it's, you're not overstepping, and making sure that you're not just taking from the other person. So you have to figure out how to give back in some way that's not natural necessarily. That's not, it's just how do I do this? Which
is the heart of this topic. It's
right.
Like, how do we do it, and the courage that it takes to do it, because again, as where we began was with it, being one of the most vulnerable, being vulnerable, and so wow. Go ahead.
I think there's another thing too, and we talked about this a little bit, the idea of missing love. And I think one of the things that we don't always take into account is the whole idea of love languages. We do it from the perspective, I think, sometimes of this is my love language. Please speak to me in it, Please learn it fluently. Yes. And what we don't often do is go, oh, that's their love language, and that doesn't feel as important to me, but I can see that it's really a gift they're giving me.
Right.
They're really giving the gift. And am I willing to receive it, even though it's not exactly like I would do it, but that doesn't make it any less loving. And if we don't do that, we miss out on that love that's being offered to us.
Yeah, it almost, I hear you and I agree with you, and it almost seems, I mean, yes, it's related, but it almost seems like a different topic to me, in that, like, that's kind of like the give and take of a relationship, right? Like, how much can we really, I guess it's the same. How much can we really, when I love somebody else, how much can I let go of or embrace in order to make them feel or have their needs met.
Well, and it's not even about having their needs met. It's about the reality that someone is attempting to meet our needs. And if we can't see to that because of our own blindness to how different people communicate, then we miss out on receiving it, and we deflect it from ourselves in some way, shape, or form. We can be open and vulnerable. We can be looking at our self-worth, but if we're ignoring that, we may be missing other areas of love coming to us. So that's all I'm saying. There's a variety of places where we have to kind of rethink our thinking in order to receive love in a way that can build us up.
The thing about really receiving love is, I think it is a journey in transformation. And you have to know that when you open up and you're able to receive love, and remember, everybody, this can be in baby increments. It could be as small as just letting someone compliment you and saying thank you, but when we do that, then things change. Our body changes, our whole world changes. It softens your nervous system. It has effects on settling you in, and your relationship may change. It may deepen based on what you were able to take in, and all of those things. And that's change. And so that too, even though it sounds really good, can be scary because it doesn't feel the same.
It's unfamiliar. If we're not used to doing it, it's unfamiliar. And therefore, now we've got to get used to it at some level.
Yeah, and if you have any doubt or fear about, well, this feels really good, will it last? Can I really hang out in this, and is it going to be this good forever? You're worried that it's going to go away, and because you're feeling, all of a sudden you're feeling supported. You're feeling, everything you're feeling is affirmative. And we want to go back to taking care of the small us going, well, but if it doesn't last, then, danger, what's going to happen? Right? This dog's going to fall. I'm serious. Sorry, our dog is about to fall off of our lap, at least off of mine.
He's very relaxed.
He's not going to be happy, though. Okay. Anyway, so.
Well, I was noticing the thought about overgiving, and I was thinking about people in our lives where we've experienced someone who is, well, I think the term we often use in various areas is they're trying too hard. It's like it doesn't feel authentic necessarily because we're trying too hard. And I think we have to be conscious of that in ourselves, of shifting to the idea of receiving and giving rather than giving in order to earn what we're receiving. And I think that's the kicker. When we think we have to do something to get it, we think love requires us to be something that we're not naturally. And I think that's what trips us up.
Yeah, but that yes, but that really speaks to whatever the suspicion is that we bring into our life and all of our relationships, and that means even whether or not a job is going to last, because, are we doing it well enough? Are they going to need something else? Or, how long is this going to last? It's like there's a timer, going sometimes in our head about, can't.
Well, that's when we push the love away, when we're waiting for the other shoe to drop. We're waiting for the disaster to happen. And so shifting our mindset from one of looking for what could possibly be wrong, for looking at the lack in ourselves that may cause someone not to love us, from looking at their inability to see who we are and know how to speak to us perfectly, from moving from that to trusting that we are loved, period.
It sounds really great.
Doesn't it?
Yep.
Okay, thanks. Bye, everybody.
No, but so how do we do that? Seriously. What are the steps we take, or how do we begin to open up to that place? And I mean, I know a lot of it is done through our inner work and classes and trusting that, really living into that statement, God, as God is, I am, I am all of those amazing things that God is. But those are concepts,
right?
Until you can really break them down into your own world. So how do we really do that? And
Well, I think one of the ways that I have not done well with this is allowing people to show up and help with something that, is inherently, in my mind, doesn't require any help. Right? So I don't, thanks, but no thanks. And so I miss the opportunity to have an experience of just being with that person, receiving their gift, and also whatever other gifts come along the way because of that little bit of time or whatever that's invested in that activity, whatever it is. And so it's not just about the big things. It's not about all kinds of stuff, but sometimes it's about reminding ourselves with small things and then beginning to allow that to slowly move us from where we are as we realize, oh, that works. That felt good. And it's not so much a conscious thing of that felt good, but we realize it's okay. I think the conscious thing is to go, okay, in this moment, what should I really do? Should I just, blow them off? If it's the 90-year-old woman with a walker asking if I think she can help me carry a table out, that may not be the time to say yes. But,
But why not?
Maybe it is.
I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, well, that reminds me of like when I used to, yeah.
And no, that's a good point.
It's like, that's the thing. We don't know, and so, I think it's even letting someone help you with something small. And what it reminded me of is like, if anyone out there has kids or has had kids, and, when your 3 or 4-year-old wants to help, well, it's not really helpful.
Quite often.
There's nothing helpful about it. And that you're teaching and giving them a skill of being able to ask and being able to help. And so you let them wash the dishes and then you go back and wash the food they left on them or whatever that is. You let them set the table and it's not perfect and you rave about how perfect it is and sit down at the table.
And it's not just letting them, you invite them in, you receive it. You receive it as the gift that it's meant to be rather than judging it for its quality, if you will. Judging it for, it's not going to be exactly the way I would do it and therefore it's not good enough. Or, which really is your own judgment on yourself about how good it has to be. If somebody's going to walk in and think you did it, oh my God, when the guests get here and it looks like my 3-year-old set the table because they did, but how's that reflect on me? That's that thing of our trusting in our own worthiness of love.
Well, and even just letting go of control.
Right.
I mean, it's just letting go of control. I mean, who says the table has to be set like that? You know what I mean? That's something.
Wasn't it happy?
But yeah, so I think, yes, that's one way. And I think, little things like notice when you feel uncomfortable. when people say things to you. Really notice, if someone says to you, wow, thank you, that was great, you were amazing, what do you feel in your body? Just take a moment and breathe that in, because there's times where inside my head goes, yeah, right. I could have done so much better. I was going to do this and I, blah, 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 blah. Good, and there's all this conversation that happens before I go, oh, thank you. But, can you let go of that inner dialogue and what's really going on, and really just, it reminds me of, when we say, namaste, I see the God in you. It's like, can you stop in that moment and recognize that the God in them had an experience of you that was the God in you. Maybe it didn't look the way you wanted it to, but it's, it translated to somebody else as something good.
It makes me think of what we've often said to couples getting married, and what we said very recently to someone's was, when you're doing something like a wedding, you're doing some kind of production like that and creating all this stuff. Nobody knows what was supposed to happen except you.
Right.
And so the only one who's looking at the lack in terms of anything that seemed to go wrong or that was forgotten or whatever is you. Other people are seeing the beauty in it, and let them remind you that the beauty was there.
Right.
Don't allow yourself to become the one that cuts off the fact that other people experience this beauty. And I think that's often where we go.
Yeah, and this is what we were talking about. It's courageous in some ways. It's all for you to stand there, feeling naked.
Mm.
It's courageous to take in their love, because whatever your story is about it, whatever your story is about yourself. And so, can you be this courageous? Can you step into that place? And it's receiving is I love to give, and I have had to get better at receiving over time. And I think that's the basic thought, that if you're if you're a good giver, you're generally not as good a receiver. But it's a receiving is a muscle. It's a learned thing, and the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. Like, my dialogue has gone from, yeah, right, to with all the expletives of how I could have done it differently or better, or judging who the person is in front of me. Like, who's telling me that? Is it worthy of me believing or not believing? To really being able to go, thank you, and just take it in,
And I think that idea of control that you've mentioned, we think that when we do the giving, somehow that is more important than when we are giving the gift of receiving someone else's gift. Because that...
Can you just say that one more time?
When we think that our doing the giving, doing some kind of giving, is more important than the giving we do when we receive from someone else, then we miss many opportunities to give gifts to people. Because when someone wants to offer us something and we refuse it, then the gift isn't given, and therefore the person giving it doesn't have that joy.
Yeah, and that I wasn't saying that.
No, I was just
Okay.
Piggybacking on it.
So
Really.
Just in case the rest of you don't read my mind, I wasn't saying that my gift of giving is more important. I wasn't saying that. But I understand what you're saying.
But I do read her mind. So there you go.
So he interrupts, and you don't get to hear the rest of it. But yeah, I think that's, when you receive love, you're giving someone the gift of being able to gift you their love.
Yeah.
Right? So you're being able, receiving is giving. It's all reciprocal. That's the whole thing. It's not is not selfish. It's relational. It's reciprocal. It flows, like that. And it is, one of the best
Wow.
gifts you could give.
Well, before we go off the end, I just dawned on me that whole idea, when we're giving and in charge of that giving, we are also trying to control how we receive, because we want to make sure that we receive kudos or whatever for the giving that we've intentionally done. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. I'm not sure it's true. I don't know that I always want kudos.
Well, I don't know that it's
maybe
it's the always thing, but I'm saying if we're someone who tends to really want to control the giving, I think in part what we're doing is we are trying to control what comes to us, because we can then determine whether or not the gift is worthy, because we've given it, therefore it's worthy. We've decided. I don't know. It's an interesting thing to explore, though, if that's something going on for someone, that they can give a lot, but they don't necessarily just receive what's coming in. I would just think about, so why is that? What is it about the giving that makes it better for you?
Right. Right. I get it. So, all right. As we close today, we just want to leave you with the reminder that receiving love is not selfish, that it's not a burden on anyone. It's a sacred act. Sorry, the dog's standing up. It's a sacred act of allowing yourself to be part of the flow. And it's really giving and receiving both are offering an opening to more love. And as you know, the world needs more love. So
Needs now.
just remember to rock the love, everybody. I know we're out there rocking it. You can see it. You can see it daily in the news that love will prevail. So we're just sending out blessings to our planet and to the world, and knowing that
All people.
what?
And to all people.
And to all people, knowing that love will prevail. So rock the love, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Thanks for being here. Bye now.